this is Cindy. I'm the tireless tangler, and you've arrived at day 74 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank you all so much for being with me today. We're almost to the last 25 days, and it has been so much fun. Today's cute tangle is called Hearting. It is by, okay, help me, Hsin-Ya Hsu, and it is a wonderland for embellishment. So let's explore this pretty little heart tangle. Okay, so today I want to show you a couple of different ways to draw this. Any of them is fine. And the first way I'm going to show you is the way that they have it in the step out. Now, I did find it's somewhat difficult. I did have to practice quite a bit to get this to work for me, but let me show you how that goes. So you want to start this with a line of heart bumps that goes all the way around in the shape of an orb, okay? So I'm going to start, oops, pin emergency, okay. So I want to make these heart-shaped bumps all the way around in a circular manner and hopefully come back up and meet up here, okay? Now, there is no set number of these that you have to have, and I really need to stop sooner on this. I really don't know how this is going to come out, and I don't know how many of these there are going to end up being. I'm doing them in sets of 2, so I have a choice right now to either fit 2 of them in here or make one large one, which tough choice. Okay, so cautionary note, I think I may have come down too far on this one, but let's see what we do next. So next, we are going to start hooking these up to a center point, and so it helps me a little bit to just tap a little dot in there in the middle. And then I'm going to start from the center, and now in the step out, she has you coming down, and that might work well for you. I, of course, want to push out. I really think it doesn't matter. It's going to be a matter of personal taste. However, if you come down, then you have the opportunity to not have this happen. So that's a good enough reason for me to not do that again. So I'm going to come down from here with a curved line into the center. But this is why you don't want to bring those down too far, because then they're hard to match up in a pleasing curve. Yeah, I got 3 sections. I think I've got 6 here. So draw your curved lines in however is comfortable for you to do it. The next step then is to draw an R line, but to be specific with where you put it. And in that, I mean start here where one bump seems to run into the next. And then as you come down here, you're going to want this to end up also going behind this spot here. And what that's going to do is it's going to enhance the feeling of overlap that there is in this pattern. And I have to tell you that I frequently draw the auras on this wrong and start them at the center point instead of doing this number, and it really does matter to how the overlap affects this if you do it up from the center. And I'll show you an example of that here in a sec. So it really doesn't matter which end you start in or on. Just make a nice, careful aura. Remember, that's a parallel line. Okay, and then I'm going to stop right here where we run into the next section. So you're just aura-ing about 2/3, 3/4, something like that. Don't make me do fractions, you guys. It's too much. It's too much for the old lady. All right. Okay, I'm going to put up a graphic right now. I've got sort of a first draft of my Take Heart heart that I want to put on shirts. And you guys can let me know what you think of it in comments. All right, so this is how you draw this cute little pattern as the step out does. Now, of course, for me, I want to do this a bit differently, and there are several ways you can approach this. Now, in the step out, she does this with 5 sections. I have 6 here. Honestly, it does not matter. You can fit as few or as many in here as you want. I've done this with 4, although I feel 4 isn't quite as successful with the overlapping as more. And I suppose you could do 3, but I think that might be funky. Okay, so one of the first problems that I had with this pattern was that the whole coming around, and how did you know you were going to have enough room by the time you get around, and how to get them evenly spaced. And you guys know how OCD I am. So the first thing I did was think, okay, well, there are 5 sections. So what if I put little dots? I put a center dot, right? And then I try, like putting a dot up here, and then doing, thank you, by the way, for you guys that suggested the 5-point star thing, that it's a stick figure. I'm really now able to visualize this quite well, and I want to thank you guys for giving me that. That's what I just did. Did you see? Isn't that awesome? So you can do this and put a little dot, and that's going to give you your even 5 sections. The problem I had with this is making this work. So then I tried something like this. And even if you try and you're careful to try to do these the right way, it's almost impossible to end up going over these dots. And even when you do go over them, they're almost always visible anyway. So again, this is not, yeah, I think I'm going to have 6 again here, or 4 and 1 big one. Okay, so that's not so bad. But you can see why I'm not pleased with this method either, right? So what I finally ended up doing, I love these little guys for explaining things. So what I finally ended up doing for myself that made me happy, and this is the way I practiced it until it became fairly natural, is I start with a center dot, okay? And then I am going to draw in heart shapes with a curve from the center, like so. This gives me the opportunity to shape them as I want, make them whatever size I want, make their curves nice and pleasing without worrying about going over any dots. I think this was how I ended up getting 4 instead of 5. But then you stop right up at the top, draw your next section. Now you can see I like to favor one side over the other. And I'll be darned if I'm not going to have 5 here if I have to squeeze them in. But even if you don't, this way works really well for me. Now, you can do this any of these ways that you like. I also experimented with drawing a circle in pencil and using that sort of as a don't go past this point, or I used it by then drawing my heart bumps around the pencil thing. But quite honestly, none of them are foolproof, and it completely destroys the zenful part of this, so I need to relax with this and go for it. So we are going to be working on a Renaissance tile today, and this is a tanned tone tile. It is by Zentangle, and it is a Zentangle tile. And I'm going to be working with a combination of black and brown today. I'm going to use my PNs in brown and black, and maybe a 01 or whatever. We'll see where we go, okay? So what I'm going to do for this is go ahead and I'm going to use a pencil, if I can find my pencil. Let me use a pencil. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to put one in the middle, and then I'm going to develop this on the outside and continue the pattern around the edge, all right? So what I want to do is I want to find the approximate center of this tile. And I'm just going to put, let me zoom out just a tiny bit, and I'm going to put a dot around the center point. So I'm guessing it's going to be right around here. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but this is where I'm going to aim from. And because I'm doing this on a larger surface and I'm paranoid, I'm just going to remind myself where my 5 spots are going to be. Let's see. And somewhere around here. So that's fairly even. And this will help me keep my drawing in perspective as far as, sorry, I'm trying to find a spot where you can see all of the pencil marks here. Make those a little bit darker for you. Okay. Now these are just, and this one might need to be wider, I don't know. These are just suggestion dots. They're just sort of to help me keep this more symmetrical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw first with my Micron PN in black. But I'm going to start from the center, and I'm going to draw my first heart around here and then stop somewhere in this area, okay? Like this. Then I'm going to shift my tile, turn it, start at the center, and I'm going to be aiming to go past here. Okay. Now this one may not make it that far. We'll find out. So that was a little too far, I think. So I'm going to stop here and turn my tile. And try to pull over there. There. I didn't do too poorly. All right. Fix up any lines I didn't get connected completely. Okay. So now I'm going to change and take my brown pen there it is. And I'm going to draw in my auras in brown. And breathe. And then remembering to stop at the line and not go continually down. This turned out pretty well, so I'm fairly pleased. Some of my aura lines are a little shaky, but that's all right. I have proven to myself over and over in this project that even though what comes out of my pen isn't perfect, I'm still very pleased with my end results. And so I hope that's something that you guys are sort of picking up as you go too. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to add another layer of these hearts around the edges, okay? So I'm going to switch back to my black pen. And we're going to do another row. And I think for interest's sake, I'm going to start, I think I'll start like at the high point of one of these hearts and go make my first one across the break. So I'm just going to draw the top of a heart and not finish it out there, okay? And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to draw another curved line and stop. Okay. Just focus on making each heart shape as pretty and rounded as you can make it. Take your time. You can make these as big or as small as you like. Oh. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to curve one and make it a half one and tuck it right in there. And then when I aura that, it'll look like it's not, and I bet nobody even notices that I don't have a complete one in there. So now I'm going to go back to my brown pen and I'm going to aura all of these spots. I think if I do this again, I think what I might change is that I need to point my hearts, make sure I've got them pointed at the center. I think this is going to be fine, but I think especially for this one and this one and this one, for these three, we don't have the heart coming back quality that we do on the rest of them. So just, you know, that's my thought. All right, let's aura these. I'm switching back to my brown pen. Okay, so let's start. Let's pull these strokes down here. I think I'm learning that that is the best way to keep in the camera frame without messing up. And I'm trying so hard to do that. Lately, the last few videos have been really frustrating for me because of the refocusing and the bad camera angle where my knuckles are in the way. It just makes me nuts. So I'm really trying hard to figure this out. So far today has been pretty good, I think. Then I get into editing and things that I think are pretty good are really not that good. So again, the thing to remember on these is to not continue the aura down on both sides, because that is where we are creating our sense of overlap. So you just want it coming down on one side. And just like that, we have a really cute blossom tangle or radial tangle. And even though this isn't perfect and we only have a half part here, I think this is going to be really pretty when I'm done. And I know you guys are too. And you can do yours however you like. If you don't have Renaissance or Zentangle tiles, you don't have to use them. You can do this in your sketch pad if you want, on a piece of copy paper, if that's what you've got. Don't let the lack of materials stop you from drawing. Okay, so here's where I want to stop this part, okay? Now, I want to decide what I'm going to do on the insides of these, and I think I already know, but I don't want to run you guys off. So I'm going to put some flux in these, and I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to do them in brown, and I think I'll use my PN to, well, do I really want to do that? I think I'll start with my 01 in brown and see how that goes. I may switch back to the PN. I'm just not sure if the PN isn't, the nib on the PN isn't going to be a little bit too big for what I'm wanting, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to start here in the center, and I'm going to flow my flux from the center out. So I'm going to set it up like this in each one of these. I'm going to draw in my little orbs. I have just been in love with this filling stuff with flux thing lately. I hope you guys will indulge me. I know a lot of you guys love flux as well. It's just so relaxing, isn't it? It's easy to draw behind if that's what you want to do. When you pack them in really densely like I'm doing here, it gives such a cool effect, especially once it's shaded. Let's see. I love the way that looks. Can you guys hear my wind chimes? Aren't they beautiful? They are special chimes. They are made by a company in Austin, Texas. And they are made to chime to specific songs or scales. Like mine are the tones from Amazing Grace, the scale tones from the song Amazing Grace. And I just love, I don't necessarily think of Amazing Grace when I hear it, But I love the fact you can get different ones. You can get minor or major chords. I mean, it's really cool. And their quality, they're really good quality. I've had them for several years. And the wind blows hard here in Oklahoma, and so they get a big workout. When you sometimes hear that in the background, that's what you're hearing. But I want to get several more, so I can put some in the back of the house as well as the front. I love the sound that they make. Okay. That is really awesome. I really, really love it. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me, guys. I will speed this part up for you, but I will see you on the other side.
I've been deeper, but I have to stay afloat. It's not easy. Be a person you don't want. Can somebody take me other thing? Going to do. Where's the life I? Where's my childhood? Is this called living? I don't know. Where's the life I? Where's my childhood? Is this called living? I don't know. I don't wanna grow. Just live myself. I don't wanna grow. The things I left behind me. I don't wanna grow. Just live myself. I don't wanna grow. The things I left behind me. Just live behind me. Just live behind me.
Wow, this is awesome. I love how it turned out. Now the question is, do I want to continue to do this on the rest of these, or do I want to try something else? And I kind of want to try something else. And I can't decide whether I want something that's as dense as this, or if I want something that will contrast by being a little bit less intense. Where's the little sample we did over here in the step out? Now we could definitely do the hatch marks. That would look very cool. Really, any of these would look cool. I still like maybe I'll try orbing the auras and then hatching the centers. I think that's what I want to do. So I think for the orbs, I'll switch back to my PN in brown. Maybe I should do black, I don't know. We'll see, we can always change them to black if that's what we want. And I think I'm going to make these filled in, inked in. And I'm just going to take care to leave my aura, or my highlight, in approximately the same spot.
I'm just good at caring too much.
Which should change. And may.
Just good at caring too much. Is it too much to ask that you
Remember, if you have trouble getting out of the lines here, try starting your orb line on the line. Okay, and I can perk those up with the jelly roll. So I really like the way that looks. So I'm going to continue that. A jelly roll against this paper is going to be awesome, I think. Going to be necessary on this one. Now these tiny orbs, these are the times that I will get out my Jelly Roll 05 and use that for highlighting. It is so tiny, and I have put so much effort into these natural highlights here. It'd be a shame to come through here and then just put a big blob of Jelly Roll on there. I really want to be a little bit more subtle. So that this looks really pretty and ornate. Okay, because I really like what that does for it. What did I say I was going to do in the middle of these? Oh yeah, the hatch lines. Good idea. Okay, so now I'm going to go through here and put those hatch lines in here, and I'm going to use my 01 in brown so that I get a lighter look color-wise. So let's see, each of these is going to have a different angle. So I think I'm just going to go this way. I'm trying to work it out so that the directionality of these is the same in all of the squares. So it needs to go a little bit more this way. And that's pretty close. This is going to be funny. Yes, it is. All right. Well, I don't know how these hatch marks are going to turn out, but we're going to get started and find out. That makes me laugh. All right. Let's start over here and see what happens.
Here we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend.
I'm going to add in some sparkles here and there.
Here we go again.
I'm just barely touching the paper. I'm just sort of gliding the pen right across the top of it. These seem simple, but you really can run into some issues if you're not careful. Okay, I really like the way that looks.
Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder I too. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 I can help you.
All right, guys, that's where I'm going to leave you for today. I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 75 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. See you then.